Yo, welcome back to Madden Simulation Divisional Round series. Unfortunately, last week Madden did not. Madden's losing streak is still on a roll. We did San Francisco versus Dallas in the the super wild card weekend, and Dallas won Madden, but they came up short in the the real world. But this week for Divisional Round weekend, we are doing the highly anticipated Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw this matchup earlier in the season. Yet again, we have 3 matchups that happen in the regular season in the divisional round. The real question is, are we going to see the same results? There's only one game that isn't, but we will. Let's see how this turns out. Earlier in the season, I was going to simulate this one, but I decided that, you know what, we've had too many Buffalo games, too many Kansas City games, I think, and I went a different route. When these two teams met earlier in the year, I strayed off and did San Francisco versus Arizona. And at the time, it felt like a good decision, but, you know, it is what it is. Because, let's see.
And you used the perfect word there, Brandon. Dangerous. Yeah,
I'll forget it right now. Okay, so, but we are in for a good one, hopefully. And we'll see if Madden can actually bounce back and if Madden can bounce back and actually predict one right. Because we're getting to the nitty gritty. We got divisional round this weekend. We got championship Sunday next week. We get 2 weeks off, and then it's the Super Bowl. And oh boy, I'm just hoping a specific team is in it. So, but let's see how this one turns out. Oh, come on, let's get this game up started. Who's getting the ball first? Oh, Kansas City's kicking off the Buffalo. Woo. But like I said, Madden, we did San Francisco at Dallas, and unfortunately, all my AFC picks we got right. My NFC picks I got wrong, but I was kind of being a little more on the facetious side. But let's go and recap. We'll recap the games that were on Super Wildcard Weekend, and then we'll take a look how we got here with these two teams, how they fared each other in the regular season, and then do our predictions. Our predictions of divisional round, and see who might make it to the championship Sunday. So, last week we had 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and for the first time ever, Monday Night Football hosting a playoff game, which we'll get to in a little bit. Excuse me. Woo. So, Super Wildcard Weekend kicked off on Saturday, January 15th in Cincinnati, the Queen City. Cincinnati hosting the Las Vegas Raiders, and they're just looking to finally get a playoff win this century for the first time in 31 years. And man, okay, they made the playoffs. How many times did they made the playoffs with is it Marvin Lewis? I think that's
Call it a pickup of 3 and also now likely a punt.
I think he was a long tenured coach for the Bengals, and they made the playoffs, I don't know, 6, 7 times, and lost every single time in the wild card round. I don't think they got a first round bye. They might have, but let's see. Let's see if I can find their playoff record.
He's the gold standard for quarterbacks in today's NFL because of his ability to create, find the open man, use all
That's season by season record, maybe.
He's a complete package, and boy, his team loves to play around him.
Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10.
Yeah, here we go. Because prior to this year, the last time the Bengals made the playoffs was 2015. And we all know what happened then. I do believe that was the hit on Antonio Brown. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They made the playoffs 5 straight years, 2011 through 2015. Wild card round every single time.
Charles, first drive here, little safe completion underneath, maybe get some rhythm, get your feet wet, so to speak.
Okay, so
I like it because it's a lot like
this
a basketball game when you're getting started and you pass the ball around so everyone
so here we go.
touches it early,
1990
involved in the game. In this case,
was the last time they won a playoff game.
and he's able to run with the ball.
And they beat the Oilers in the wild card round, and they lost the Raiders, ironically, in divisional round. They would not make the playoffs again until 2005, where they would go on to lose in the wild card round to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, if not mistaken, would go on to win the Super Bowl that year? Wasn't that? I think so. But anyways, I do believe Marvin Lewis was the head coach by then. So 2005, they make the playoffs, and was that the Carson Palmer? No, was that the one where Palmer gets rolled up? Yes, that had been the one, because they weren't the 1 seed, but they were the 3 seed, I think. And that was the best team, I think, since they had Carson Palmer and company. And that was where Palmer gets rolled up from behind, tears his ACL or something, blows out his knee. Pittsburgh wins and goes on a roll, and boom, boom, boom. Rest is history. But anyways, boom, they lose. Wouldn't make the playoffs again until 2009. And they lost to the Jets. They missed the playoffs in 2010, but then 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 5 straight years they made the playoffs. 5 straight years they lose. They lost to the Texans, not once, but twice in a row, back-to-back years. Texans getting their first playoff wins, I think those were it. Then they lose to the Chargers in 2013. 2014, they lose to the Colts. And then 2015, they lose to, who else? Pittsburgh. So, I mean, it sucks. It sucks. Because in the NFL, it's one and done. You get one chance, and if you lose, you're out. So now we did that. Look back at Cincinnati's playoff history, and I mean, how Cincinnati did not. They stuck with Marvin Lewis all 5 years. There'd be plenty of coaches that would, or plenty of teams that would fire their coach after, say, the third time, going three straight years, making the playoffs and being one and done. Boom, you're fired. We're done. We gotta move on. Or the fourth, and especially the fifth time. And it's not like those Cincinnati teams were horrible. And I mean that the 5-year string or whatever, that was with AJ Green at wideout. That was with the Red Rifle Andy Dalton behind center. So it's like Cincinnati had good teams, but they just couldn't get over that hump. They just found a way to lose. And here we are. We're wild card weekend. Start off this time, new head coach. Second-year head coach, yeah, Zach Taylor. Most likely coach of the year, unfortunately, in my book. Because there's one certain guy that should be the coach of the year who's got screwed over, not once, not twice, but probably 3 times, and that's Matt LaFleur. But that's because he has Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, so look what the Packers were doing with Mike McCarthy. And I mean, LaFleur, 3 straight years, 13-win seasons.
Mahomes taps this forward. It's a jet sweep, and he will score.
And just like that, Kansas City gets on board. But I digress. And I mean, Las Vegas, on the other hand, they haven't won a playoff game since the AFC Championship game in 2002. I do believe. 2002. Because this is only their second playoff appearance since then. Because they made it to the Super Bowl in 2002, they lost to Tampa Bay, and then they stunk from that point onward. Man, I'm sorry. I know that makes great contact and audio of me. But no, this here. There. Hopefully that'll help. Anyways, the Raiders, was it 2 or 3 years ago? Try to remember. I don't think that was 2 years ago. I think it was 2018. But anyways, you had Derek Carr on your center, leading the Raiders, Oakland Raiders still, leading them to the promised land for the first time. But unfortunately, they clinch a playoff berth, and then he goes down with a torn ACL or some type of leg injury, I do believe, and he had to miss the playoffs. And I think they had to put in Mike Glennon. I don't know. Someone that should not be starting a playoff game in the NFL. And they go to Houston, and Houston just smacks them. That might have been 2 years ago. And then Houston went to Kansas City and got their butt beat, maybe. Anyways, so Derek Carr, this is his first playoff start, and put it this way. It was a decent way to start off super wild card weekend, but it was very sloppy. The Raiders had lots of opportunities, but when it came down to the nitty gritty, in the end, the Cincinnati Bengals pulled off the dub. And what was it? Houday? Is that their new catchphrase? Houday? New Orleans, the Saints got Houdat, and they got Houday. Come on with a little more originality. But for the first time in a long time, the curse has been broken. The 31-year drought is over, which means the Bungles no longer have the longest playoff drought, and it goes to the Northwest, to the Detroit Lions, who haven't won a playoff game since '91 now. Or was it 91 or 90? Yeah. Yeah, 91. Because in 1991, or was it 92?
Been an absolutely perfect pass and not good enough.
Maybe it's not 92. I don't know. Anyway, I think the last time the Lions won a playoff game is when they made it to the Divisional Round in 91. Because then they played the Washington Redskins at the time in the 90. The I didn't. Man, I'm not exactly. Was it 92 then? Whatever. Whenever they made to the NFC Championship game and lost. Anyway, so yeah. Long story short, Bengals beat the Raiders, and it started off slow. I felt like Cincinnati left a bunch of, how should I put it? There was a lot of opportunity moments because they got on the board with a touchdown first, then they had to settle for a couple field goals and so forth. And the Raiders weren't completely out of it, but the big story of that game was the officiating. Officiating. And how just poor officiating, and so poor that it's been reported that that officiating crew is done for the playoffs. And that's not good for those refs. Because the one big play that had the issue was it late in the second quarter? Burrow was rolling to his right. He's near the sideline, and as it appears that he steps out of bounds, throws it, and throws a touchdown. Bengals, yeah, but you can clearly hear a whistle. And if you hear a whistle, these guys here, they know what a whistle sounds like when playing, okay? Oh, what's that? Nice little glitch there. But the Raider players claim they hear the whistle. You hear it, you stop what you're doing, and claim that that's one reason why the touchdown happened, because they stopped playing because they heard the whistle, because they thought Joe Burrow stepped out of bounds. But after the referees talked it over, this and that, they claim no. The whistle came after the touchdown and not before him throwing it, and therefore, play stands. But according to the rule book, it should have gone to the play should have been it should have been inverted whistle and redo the play instead of leaving the touchdown. I think that was the big story of that game. And then I think the Raiders had a chance to. They were marching on the field. They had a chance to tie, and just came up short. And the Bengals became the Bengals again, and they won finally. Yay! Good for them. And I don't know why. This time felt different. Those last 5 times. Five. Oh man, I semi-know that feeling. I semi-know that feeling of 5, making the playoffs and being one and done. It's like, I mean, you're good enough. You're the top tier. You're in the top tier of your conference. Obviously top 6, then top 7. Even though there's only 16 teams. But you're good enough to make the playoffs, but you're not good enough to win one game to move on.
So after knocking through the field goal, here's Bass to kick it away.
Ooh, that's a short kick.
Pulls it in at the 13.
So we move on to the late game, and boy, oh boy, it was over before it even started. We had the rubber match, New England versus Buffalo in Buffalo.
last drive, and I'm guessing that you like the balance
And
of that last drive.
And I loved it. Forget
yeah.
liking it. Absolutely loved what they were doing because to be ahead of the defense that much, where every play call you had
It was
run or
at
pass
halftime.
pretty well for you.
Well, the first game that these two teams played, it was in Buffalo. It was Monday night. It was windy. It was cold, and New England just dominated.
Gonna let one fly for Robinson.
They shut the Bills down. And I mean, the Bills, I think the Bills lost to Jacksonville a few weeks earlier. And that was the thing with this Bills team, is that they've
Second and 10.
oh, let's see.
From the gun, it's Mahomes. Complete. The tight end
Yeah,
Kelsey.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 weeks earlier, they lost to Jacksonville.
Third and 8 coming up. I think
That was the
defensively, you're okay with that.
confusing part with this team, with Buffalo.
Rally to him quickly.
They lost to the Steelers week 1.
First quarter, can you do it all game long?
They
They catch it, you tackle them, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that, you don't
they
give up
they lost to Steelers week 1, which is a little puzzling,
now you put
because
the
you know
offense in a
how
position where
you thought this team was going to do. They lost to Jacksonville.
and you tend to stall them out when they do
They
that.
lost to Indianapolis.
To the other side of midfield, across the 45.
Well, they got screwed by Tampa Bay.
Sometimes it takes more
And
than
then
bring him down.
I think that was the last. No, they lost 2 in a row, and then they lost to
For your teammates to arrive.
New England, and that was only 14-10 in New England. New England just ran the ball. Mac Jones was 2 for 3. I don't think if that even loses a passer rating. But then when they faced them a few weeks later, Buffalo in command in New England just took care of business, and they just picked off where they last left, and they were just putting a hurt on New England. It was 27-0 before New England got on the board with 1 second left in the first half to make it 27-3, and Buffalo's just pounding away.
If you're going to give up 10,
I mean,
12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
I'm sure everyone in the AFC East was like, yes, finally. But let's be honest. Let's hope a lot of football fans were enjoying the seeing that pounding on New England, okay, because of their years of dominance. But let's be honest, it's not the same team. It's the same coach, but it's not the same team. If it was Tom Brady at the helm and this was happening to him, man, it would be so bittersweet just to see them getting their pounded, but it's not. So it's not quite the same. It's the same franchise. It's the same team that dominated the AFC for over 20 years. But we saw how they played last year without a quarterback. You saw, New England easily could have been the #1 seed, but they're still not quite there. And they could easily turn things around next year.
When you find that kind of yardage, you can be more confident
with Mac Jones.
And guess what? You're going to go back and tell your offensive coordinator.
But
"I'd like to keep
yeah,
carrying
that
the
was
ball."
just, it was over before it started. The final 47-17. Ugh.
Back here for the Bills on third down.
So then we move on to Sunday. Oh, intercepted! Can he go all the way? 40. Patrick Mahomes, the last one to stop him. No, he's gone. Touchdown, Buffalo.
He's free going down the left side. It's a foot race, and he is gonna score. It's
So we pick up Sunday at noon. Your classic. Nothing's like watching a football game at noon on a Sunday.
That's going to be one of the great mysteries.
And
but
we
I do
have
know this. When they went out on offense,
Philadelphia
guarantee
at
they
Tampa
told them,
Bay.
Don't just make anticipatory throws.
And
Make sure you
just
see
like
it
we
before
saw
you
the
know
night
it
before,
didn't happen.
this one was over before it began. Tampa Bay just push shellacking on those Eagles, and then you just wonder to yourself, why did the NFL expand to 7? Why did they expand and add an extra team in the playoffs? I know. How should I put this? I do feel like college football should expand the college football playoffs because you got 130 schools. Okay, you have 130 schools. Expand it to make it a little more ratio. Okay, NFL, you only got 32 teams. You only had 12 make the playoffs before. So let's see, I can't whip out the old abacus. Let's see what. Is that what I want? 12. Do I want 12 divided by 32? And we'll go. That's 37.5%. If I did that right. You know, about, okay, so, yeah. Little more than a third of the league makes the playoffs. Okay, that's good. But now, that's almost, almost 44%. That's 6% less than half the league. And some years, okay, there's some years there are some good teams that are left out. Other years, it's like, why are they playing for a championship? Okay. And this is one of those years, in my opinion, it's like, why is this team even in? Okay. Challenge. And anyways, it was 17-0 at half. And so Philly wasn't quite out of it by halftime. But by the end of the third, it was 31-0. And then Eagles got 2 garbage time touchdowns to make it 31-15. But I mean, here's just an example of like why do we have a 17? Okay. I mean, I could, to some extent, I can see them expand the playoffs to 16 teams, so you have half the league in there. More and more football. I understand, we want more football. Well then maybe let's add more teams. Let's add 8 more teams. We have 40 teams in the league. Well, it would 8. We go back to, we had 5, I guess. Yeah. You add 5 more teams to each division. And then, let's see. You expand the playoffs to 16 there. Easy. Something like that. So after one quarter, Buffalo's up 10-7. Thanks to that pick 6. Oh, and Mahomes on the run. Whatever. So yeah. Then we move on to the late game on Sunday. San Francisco at Dallas. An oldie but a goodie. Renewing their postseason rivalry that we haven't seen in over 25 years. The last time these two teams played in the postseason was the 1994 NFC Championship game. And San Francisco picked up where they last left off 25 years ago and dominated the Cowboys. And just watching that game, I think Cowboys got the ball first, and San Francisco defense just came out pounding. And just boom, boom, boom. I didn't think Dallas was going. I thought this was going to be over before it started as well. But Dallas kept it close-ish. But it was. It was what? It was heading into the fourth quarter. It was 23-7. 23-7. So I mean, okay, you're down by 16? Yeah, 16. So that's 2 scores. Doesn't sound right, but it is. Because 8 times 3 is 24. But and Dallas had some questionable calls, as we all know. And as I'm well aware, I know how highly successful Dallas' coach is, Mike McCarthy, and how questionable his play calling. Well, he wasn't even the play call. He doesn't call the plays anymore. It was what Keenan Allen, is it? Whoever the offense coordinator is. Okay. They call the plays, blah blah blah, and they had to play some trickery, and at one point it was 4th down and Dallas faked the punt, got the 1st down, and then they hurry up to the line of scrimmage, because if they don't do any substitutions, that doesn't mean San Francisco couldn't do any substitutions. It just means that if you try to substitute, well, you gotta hurry up before they snap the ball. And then, like, I don't know, 10 seconds left on the play clock, Dallas like, no, we're going to switch. We're going to bring out the offense. And then they got to delay a game. It's like, if you're going to fake a punt and then hurry up to try to catch them off again, with either catching personnel coming on or off the field, snap the ball. Or, you know what, you get the first you fake, you convert, okay, let's get the offense back out, and so on and so forth. But then I think they said Dallas has ended up playing anyways on that drive. There was that, and but then Dallas ended up kicking a field goal. And like, why are you kicking a field goal? I think they didn't punt. I think it was a field goal. They kicked a field goal on that drive, in my opinion. And then somehow they got another touchdown. And made it 17-23. And San Francisco's just trying to run the clock out. And just when I thought they got the 1st down as time was expiring, nope. They were short, and like, man, I turned the TV off just when I thought that game was over. And I thought San Francisco is coming to Green Bay, boom, and I'm waiting for my phone to say, hey, game over, blah this, blah that. I'm like, no, okay, why isn't the game over yet? I turned the TV back on. Dallas got the ball back, because replay showed San Francisco's running back was it Deebo Samuel? He was shy of the 1st down. And it's like, oh, come on. So Dallas gets the ball. There are no timeouts. They're moving. You got to aim for the sideline or hurry. And it came down to a 2nd and 1. I think it was 2nd and 1 or whatever, with 14 seconds left. And Dak snaps it, QB draw. Okay. Then you gotta get down, spot the ball, spike it, because you have no timeouts left. Spike it, you get one more try off. But no, you know what happened? Some miscommunication between the Cowboys and the umpire. Dallas tries to spot their own ball. The umpire, who's like 20 yards behind, who's supposed to spot the ball, is running, he's gassed or whatever, and he's just has to wiggle in between Dallas's offensive line. He moves the ball like 3 times, then spots it. As there's only 1 second left, Dak snaps it, spikes it, and it's like, nope, that's the game, time expired, game's over, and Dallas loses yet again. And San Francisco moves on to the Divisional Round. And people are blaming the refs, people are blaming the coaching, everything's at the blame. It's just like, why do you call a draw play and you run 10-15 yards with like 8 seconds left and the clock's ticking with no timeouts, and you guys spike that ball to kill the clock? But yeah, like everyone's blaming the play calling. I'm also wondering why the referee, the umpire who's supposed to spot the ball, is still like 20 yards downfield as Dak's running. So, but as we all know, it doesn't come down to one play. You have 60 minutes. And there's accumulation of dozens of plays that happen in a game. And the game is not decided by one play. There was plenty of opportunities for Dallas. And I truly felt, since Dallas was the home team and how they played all year, that, you know what, they got this. Dallas got this. They'll find a way to win, and things will be glorious back in Big D. But what happened? Same old Mike McCarthy, same old them boys since 1995, since winning the last time they won the Super Bowl. They've been Jack Diddley. I think they've only won 3 times. It wasn't until 2009. It was from 2000. It was 95 to 2009. It took them to finally win a playoff game. Because 96, I think they were one and done. No, they weren't one and done in 96. I don't think. Or were they? Did they beat Minnesota in the wild card? Lost to Carolina in the divisional round, maybe. But anyways, then ever since then they've been follies. And so a blunder at the end, questionable play calling. Is Mike McCarthy going to get fired? Is Keenan Allen going? I don't think it's Keenan Allen. Kellen Moore. That's it. That sounds more like Keenan Allen's the wide receiver. Kellen Moore is the offense coordinator. Is he going to take over as head coach because they don't want to lose him? This and that. All these questionable calls. And like I said before, that's the thing with the NFL. You're one and done if you lose in the wild card round. And it's just when you do it year in, year out, you question yourself. What are we doing wrong? You saw how we played in the regular season, but you know that's weeks 1 through 10. Okay, that's the first 2.5 months of the season. Last month and a half, that's when you need your momentum. You need to get that momentum the last 5-6 weeks of the regular season to get your stride. Because I mean, look at the Chiefs. They started 3-4, and then they went on a tear. They won 8 in a row, and then basically won 9 of the last 10 games. They finally found themselves, and sometimes that's what happens. You got figure, you struggle early, either with injuries or new players, this and that, and boom. But anyways, San Francisco wins. They move on. Then we move on to Sunday night. We had Pittsburgh at Kansas City, and that again was a shellacking. It was scoreless after the first quarter, and 5 minutes into the second quarter, there was a Kansas City had Wildcat, I think it was. And there was a miscommunication on the handoff. TJ Watt comes in, picks up the ball, and runs in. Pittsburgh's up 7-0. And apparently that lit the fire for the Kansas City Chiefs. Because they end up scoring 3 times in that quarter to go up 21-7 at half. And then they would score 2 more times to go 35-7 until Pittsburgh got a score late in the third. But in the end, it was 42-21. And the swan song for Big Ben Roethlisberger is adieu. He'll probably make his formal retirement in the upcoming weeks, months, and say farewell. But Kansas City, just like I said, this shows why we don't need 7 teams in each side. We don't need 14 teams in the playoffs. Those Kansas City, Tampa Bay, they both were the 2 seeds. They would have had byes. I mean, in all honesty, actually, I'm conflicted because I would want the bye, I want the rest, I want to just relax. You know, we have an extra week off. We can heal because we all know how brutal this sport is, and we just need they need time to heal and so forth. But if you have momentum going, you don't want to take that bye week. You want to keep playing. You want to keep playing. You want to keep going. You don't want to rest. But unfortunately, you know, after Championship Sunday, you have a week off, and then there's the Super Bowl to give both teams a chance to rest and heal and so forth. But anyways, so Kansas City, another beat down. So New England got beat down. Philadelphia got beat down. Pittsburgh got beat down. So that's 3 of the 5 games were blowouts and beatdowns and embarrassments. Then we had to wait. We had to wait for Monday night for the final game. And like I said, in my opinion, there was a little lackluster for that. Because you had, if this is the beauty part about the playoffs. It's all on the weekend. And, you know, a lot of people have the weekends off. You had 2 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, but then you have to wait for the encore for Monday night. It's like, we're back at work all day, and then you have a game on, oh, he's gone. No! But you had to wait for Monday night for the final playoff game. Most people at work all day, then come home. Just typical Monday night, like Monday Night Football. Boom, there it is. But in my opinion, it's a little lackluster because you had all this football, and then you had this huge pause. If all 6 games were on Saturday and Sunday, boom, we're doing so much better. And Monday you'd have just sit back, relax, and okay, how about that weekend that was? Let's see what's coming up this next weekend. But nope. So we had the Los Angeles Rams hosting the Arizona Cardinals, another rubber match. You had Arizona won the first matchup in LA. The Rams won the second match in Arizona just a few weeks ago on Monday Night Football. And yet again, this game was over before it began. Okay, the Rams came out balling, and just their defense was all over Kyle Murray and Arizona. Okay, and it's just like this team starts 7-0. Okay, and finished 11-5, wasn't it? And it's like, man, Arizona was flying high to start the season, and then they lost momentum. Someone shot down the birds and went down. So Arizona got shellacking, and boom, they were done. They're over. Didn't seem like the 5th best team in the NFC. San Francisco seemed like more the better team because San Francisco had momentum. They were rolling. So, and it just felt lackluster, in my opinion. And I mean, isn't this what we should see though? Over Super Wildcard Weekend was the better teams. Well, obviously the better teams win. And on the AFC side, the top 3 teams won. The 2nd, 3rd, and 4th seed all won. All 3 wildcard teams, they lost. While on the flip side, on the NFC side, 2 of the 3 won. The 2 seed and the 4 seed, they both won. While the 3 seed, Dallas, who seemed like they were going to be a threat finally again. Nope, they lose to the 6 seed. And it was kind of a relatively equal matchup, but let's be honest, San Francisco dominated that game. And in all honesty, all these games were one-sided affairs, except for, in my opinion, the Cincinnati, Las Vegas. Because I mean, you go back to that game, Las Vegas goes up 3-0. Cincinnati, it's 10-3 after the first quarter. At halftime, it was 20-13. You know, Cincinnati and had self field goals here and there. That's keeping them in the game. They, you know what? Cincinnati scored 2 touchdowns. The rest were all field goals. And Las Vegas, same thing. They were kicking field goals left and right. And so that's why it was very sloppy. So that one felt like the only one that, yeah, Cincinnati had control. They were in control, but Las Vegas, if they just hit the right thing, they would have, boom, they would have been their ball, their game. But Buffalo, they were in control of that game. Tampa Bay, they were in control of their game. San Francisco, they were in control of their game. Dallas was playing stupid. Kansas City, they were in control of that game. And LA Rams, they were in control of that game. So, in my opinion, they were all one-sided affairs except for that first one in my mind. Oh. What was that? So, with that all said, this is how the divisional round looks like. We have on Saturday the 4 seed Cincinnati heading to the 1 seed Tennessee. That's the early game on Saturday. Saturday night you have the 6 seed San Francisco coming to Lambeau, Green Bay, Wisconsin, take on the number 1 seed, the Green Bay Packers. On Sunday, early game. And just look at these times, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. Not quite a late start, but not quite noon. So you have it's 2 Central Time. This is all Central Time. So it's 3 o'clock on the East Coast, 2 Central, 1 Mountain, and noon on the West Coast. We got LA, the Rams, heading to Tampa Bay, and then the prime time game. Not even prime time. The main event. This is the main event. These 2 heavyweights. Boom, 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 boom. Buffalo at Kansas City. And like I said, I'll talk more about how these 2 teams got to where they at after halftime. We're gonna enjoy how the rest of this half real quick. And boy, oh boy, I'm looking forward. We'll look at how these 2 teams got to the divisional round. Then we'll preview and predict the other 3 games. But in all honesty, 3 of the 4 games just seem like great matchups. That it'd be even. It come down to the wire. It's just that first one. No one's talking about Tennessee. Is King Henry going to be playing on Saturday? Is he going to return? And if he does return, how big of a threat is he going to be? And in all honesty, I don't think he's going to be that. I mean, just his presence on the field. I mean, if you ever go back to watch Super Bowl 32, Denver's big threat was Terrell Davis. Okay? And I don't know when it was in the game, but apparently he had this huge migraine. Okay? And he was just running rampant on Green Bay. And he's like, I can't see. I got a migraine. I can't see. And it's like, that's okay. We're just going to fake you the ball because you in there, they'll think you're getting it. and Elway will just throw it. And that's what they did. Green Bay bit the play action, and Elway threw a touchdown. And just your presence on the field makes a difference. They don't know that he had a migraine. They don't know that he's not feeling good. Because it happened mid-game. But Terrell Davis, he played decoy and boom, they bit. And we all know that Derrick Henry was Achilles. I forget what his injury is, but even if he's been practicing this whole time, how healthy is he? He's not going to be at 100%. He's not going to be the one getting that stiff arm and throwing the guy down. So, but his presence will be felt. And Cincinnati, they're young. They're chipper. You know what? It's not they have nothing to play for. But, I mean, they finally win a playoff game. They get to the divisional round for the first time in a long time. And they're playing Tennessee. And Tennessee, they lost a few games against teams like, how did they lose to them? Wow. Mahomes, come on. Cincinnati, same thing. That's the one thing these two teams have in common, Tennessee and Cincinnati. They both lost to the Jets. I'm like, man. And the AFC, that's what made the AFC so much of a head scratcher. It's like, well, those two teams lost to the Jets. Buffalo lost to Jacksonville.
They fake the give. Now Mahomes.
I don't know who Kansas City, if they had an embarrassing loss to, because they had 5 losses. They lost to the LA Chargers. They lost to Cincinnati late in the season. That was 2. Who did they lose to? Also, they didn't lose to any of the NFC East teams. I don't think. Who were the other 3 losses to? I don't think. To some extent, Kansas City had that embarrassing loss. It's like, wow, how did they lose to them? Excuse me. I mean, Green Bay, they lost to New Orleans week 1. In my opinion, that was more embarrassing than losing to Detroit week 18 because of the situation. Dallas, they lost to, in my opinion, their embarrassing loss was to Arizona. How Arizona was playing. I mean, I'm going to review Kansas City's schedule after halftime. Time's a ticking. Okay, Kansas City lost to Baltimore. That's not embarrassing. Chargers. That's not embarrassing. Buffalo. That's not embarrassing. Their embarrassing loss was against Tennessee because it was 27-3. That was their most embarrassing loss. And then that was their last loss for a long time. That was when they lost their 4th. So that is wow. So was it? They gonna send out that field goal unit with 10 seconds left, I guess. We got a good one going here. Kansas City kicks a field goal, makes it. They're up by 7. Buffalo has 2 timeouts. They'll have about 5 seconds left before halftime if they do anything. And I forget who gets the ball.
And this a 39-yard attempt.
Kick is up and good. Kansas City's trying to make it to the AFC Championship game for the 4th straight year. Man. Yeah, 4th straight year. Man. Packers are trying to make it to the NFC Championship game for the 3rd straight year themselves. And win one, hopefully. Man. I will say though, I've been very I forget what after at what week it was. But I've gone into most Packer games of like, you know what, I just gotta be relaxed. You know, whatever happens, happens. Can't get stressed out. Okay. Let's see what they do. Are they going to take a knee? They're going to run the ball? What are they going to do? Oh, they're going to take a knee. So I'll take my halftime and be back in a jiffy.
He'll take the knee in the final couple seconds. Will tick by in this first half. So we've come upon halftime here in KC with the Chiefs on top. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
Okay, right, Brandon. Thanks very much. And welcome in, everyone, to this slimmed-down version of the EA Sports halftime report. First, though, let's get a check on the next-gen stats from that first half for the Bills. And they were able to have a little bit of success on the ground. The question will be, will they stick with it? Or will they be throwing more to try and regain this lead? Meanwhile, for the Chiefs, you get a look at what they were able to do throwing the football. And whatever they've done, it's worked, as they have the lead through 2 quarters of play.
Okay, Coach, yeah, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. Here's Bass now to send it away. This is taken just shy of the 10. A solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32. Out comes Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense. And a trio of touchdown passes so far. They've got the lead as well. All is good in their football world at this point.
And it's so much fun for our colleagues, right? Think about our producer, our director, everyone putting together these shots. Wouldn't you love to be in the truck right now and hear him calling for it? Give me that one, give me that one, give me that one. And we just saw 3 beautiful touchdown passes.
Now he's looking for 4. The KC offense out of the huddle, ready for their next drive. Throwing on first down is Mahomes. Throw right side, going to be caught by Hardman. 7 yards, the pickup there. Three yards remain for second down. Here's Mahomes to throw. Toward the right sideline, but it's incomplete. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the third quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
So the incomplete pass on the last play, and that leads us to a 3rd and 3. Edwards-Helaire, they'll try to run for it. And he's got the first down as he's up to the 45-yard line.
Most of their damage has been done through the air. I mean, they've rung the bell 3 times with passing touchdowns, but guess what? Ground game has not been neglected. Nice little burst right there.
First down, Mahomes. Completes it to Hardman. And this will be good for a pickup of 9 to the 46.
Whew.
Here's 2nd and a yard.
Missed a little more than I was expecting, but anyways, I'm back. Kansas City gets the ball, so Kansas City has a good chance of extend their lead.
Not enough there
So,
as a matter of fact. And it leaves them at 3rd and 1.
here we go. How did we get here? Buffalo, Kansas City. How did we get here? Well, we'll start with Kansas City. They were the number 2 seed in the AFC.
Now Edwards-Helaire. And he has the first down yardage before they bring him down right at the 45.
We ought to come up with a t-shirt and sell it that says no indecision.
I mean, Kansas City had the embarrassing loss in the Super Bowl. They just got, embarrassed. Tampa Bay. So, you're coming off the Super Bowl and just think to yourself, okay, we lost, let's refocus and let's see if we can we got to start over. We got to start at square one and get back to business. So week 1, Kansas City hosts Cleveland. Boom. It was a little close for comfort, but Cleveland tried to get a little trickery, and in the end, Kansas City held and beat the Browns. But then they go to Baltimore in a, some might say potential AFC championship, or at least a playoff preview. And Baltimore, they get the ball late. They made some great plays, defensive plays. They're down, I think down by 8, and they want to go for. They got a touchdown. Instead of kicking the extra point, they went for 2. They wanted to win, and they got it. They put the nail in the coffin and got the W and beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs just 1-1. Kansas City goes back home, takes on division rival, and just played horrible. And the Chargers just pounced on them and got the W in Kansas City. And Kansas City has a losing record for the first time in a long time. And it's like, what's going on with Kansas City? Giving up another 30 points. Then they go out east, take on Philly. Normal as usual. Oh, nice. They take on the Eagles, and boom, 42-30. Still, they give up 30 points. Then, here we go. They're at home. They're hosting Buffalo. And Buffalo just run wild all over Kansas City. 38-20 was the final. Let's see. It was relatively Buffalo was up 24-10, then it was 24-13 heading at halftime. It was 24-13, so 11 point difference. But then Buffalo 31-13, 31-20, and 38-20, and Buffalo just took care of business. Buffalo took care of business in Kansas City early in the season. That was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, week 5, I guess? And Kansas City's 2 and 3. Kansas City goes out east again, hosts Washington, boom. They go east, take on Washington, 3 and 3. Then they go to Tennessee, and they got embarrassed. Their embarrassing loss of the season. They go to Tennessee, only managed to kick a field goal, score 3 points, and lose 27-3. They have a losing record once again, 3-4. But things turn around for the Chiefs. They beat the Giants. Then they beat the Packers. Without Aaron Rodgers, might I add. And let's be honest, if Aaron Rodgers... Oh, intercepted by Kansas City. Now look who has a pick 6. Kansas City starting to run away with it. But I will say, they barely got past the Giants, 20-17. They take on Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love at helm, and they win by 6, 13-7. And let's all be honest and fair. Aaron Rodgers was there. Kansas City probably would lose. Just saying. But that happened a few years ago when Green Bay went to play Kansas City the last time. Patrick Mahomes, he got hurt. So they didn't have him. Green Bay won Kansas City, beat the Chiefs, and we're having Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl that year. But I digress. So then they head to Las Vegas and they just stomped the Raiders. Dallas comes to town. They stomped them. Well, 19-10, a 10-point win. Dallas put up a fight, but didn't go so well. Denver comes to town. They beat them. Raiders come to town. 3 straight games. Kansas City only gave up 9 points. After where they were giving up like almost 30 points in the first half of the season. And then 3 straight games, only gave up 9. Then they had out LA, take on the Chargers. It was a dog fight. And went to overtime. Kansas City pulled out. They got revenge. They got redemption. They beat the Chargers. Then Pittsburgh comes to town. They beat them just like they did in the postseason. But here was the thriller. Kansas City on an 8-game win streak, 11-4 after starting 3-4. They head to Cincinnati, and that was another dog fight. And Cincinnati just hung in there, and they won. They pulled down the end with some questionable officiating and so forth, I will add. But the Kansas City took care of business. They didn't take care of business that day. Cincinnati did, and they beat them. And that's the last time Kansas City lost. Next week, Kansas City went to Denver. They were playing a little sloppy, but in the end, Denver, fell apart, and Kansas City got the W to win. They locked in the number 2 seed for shorts. As you all know, we went over. We played Pittsburgh in the first round in the wild card, super wild card weekend, and they just took Pittsburgh to. They just beat the living crap out of them. And now we're here. They host Buffalo. So how'd Buffalo's season look like?
46 yards rushing for him in the ball game now on 14 carries.
They finished the season what? 10-6, I think. When they add their playoff record in here. No, okay, they were 11-6. Kansas City was 12-5. Okay, so dang it. Okay, so how did Buffalo's season start? Well, Buffalo's season didn't start off too well. They finished last year in the AFC Championship game, losing to Kansas City, and I think they got embarrassed too. Oh, he's off to the races. Slide. So they start the season at home, hosting Pittsburgh. There's no high hopes for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's one of those teams like, where are they? What type of team are they? Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record in 14 years at the start of the season. And boom, he starts off with a win. Buffalo loses 0-1. And it's like, oh, here we go again. Just when we thought we turned things around, we made the playoffs 2 years in a row, win the division last year, and we start off with a loss. Then they head down to Miami and shut out the Dolphins. So okay, they got the W, 1-1. Then they host Washington. They beat the crap out of Washington. Then they host the Texans. They shut the Texans out again. 2 shutouts in 3 weeks. Then we all know who they played next. They went to Kansas City and they just routed the Chiefs. And like, wow. After getting week 1 loss, they rattled off what, 4 in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then Bills went to Tennessee, and Tennessee took care of business. Tennessee took care of business and beat them Bills.
So the shotgun snap to Allen.
It's like, wow.
He's got the connection to Cole
Okay.
Beasley.
Then, okay, Miami came to Buffalo. It's like, we got this. Buffalo, boom, beat them. But then Buffalo went to Florida, went to Jacksonville, only mustered 6 points in a loss to Jacksonville. And I'm like, how do you lose to this clown of a team or the clown of an owner? And you only mustered 6. You were averaging at least almost like 30 points a game, and you lose to Jacksonville in a kicking duel. I mean, come on.
From the 30 on second down, Allen, and that nearly intercepted.
Then they go take on the Jets. They put a big old 45 on them. Beat the Jets. They get back to their winning ways. So what were they at that time? They had 3 losses. They won 5 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in a row. 5, 6. They were 6-3 at that time. And then they host Indianapolis, and Jonathan Taylor just runs wild on them. Boom, they're 6-4. Buffalo's like, what the heck's going on? What's going on? We were supposed to be the new beasts in the East and dominate the AFC East for years to come. Then you had Thanksgiving, and they were thankful that they were taking on the Saints. And they beat the crap out of them, scoring 30-something again.
He finds his man, that's Sweeney.
But then
The
little hiccups come. They were what, 7-4 then? 7-4? Then Monday, they had 11 days off. They had 11 days to rest. They had Monday night. It was a Monday night. They host New England, and New England just showed Buffalo how it's done and won 14-10. It's like, whoa, New England, they might be returning to show their dominance in the East. Oh, Buffalo is back on the board. Extra point away from being down by making a 10-score game with 20 minutes left. But okay, yeah, New England beat Buffalo. Buffalo, what now? 7-5.
Roger Craig, Tom Rathman, those guys were terrific at running these types of plays.
Yeah. So then they went back to Florida. Buffalo went back to Florida, take on Tampa Bay in a thriller, in a shootout. Goes into overtime, and they just fall short. They lose the Tom Brady and company. And they're at 500, 7-7. And I think at that point, New England, they were in first place in the East. And Buffalo, 6 losses. 6-6? No, they were. What did they finish at again? Okay, I'm not doing my math right. Yeah, they were 7-6. Okay, they were 7-6, losing back-to-back games. But then they host Carolina. They beat Carolina. They went to New England. They got redemption on those Patriots and beat them. They host Atlanta. Boom, took care of business, and then they hosted the Jets, and easy win for them, finishing 11-6.
And now here comes Kansas City. This now a 10-point game. So
now we are where we are. Buffalo at Kansas City. Well, and then Buffalo got their rematch against New England, and like I said, boom, 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 hurting on those Patriots. But like I said, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not Tom Brady. It's not Gronk. It's not Edelman. It's not Moss, whatever. Because I mean, because New England owned Buffalo in those 20 years. In that 20-year span, Buffalo, I think, only got like 3 or 5 wins. Well, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick era.
I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage.
So,
but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play.
but now Buffalo got their revenge, and here we go. Woo! We are where we are. So we're gonna preview and do our predictions in a little bit. Let's see how the end of this quarter goes. Any big news going on right now? Okay, what we got? 3rd and 10. Buffalo's defense is holding. They're making some. Mahomes is rolling to his left. Buying time to his left, and he will slide down with a good game. He got the first. Wow, just like that when Buffalo seemed like they can change momentum, follow up Mahomes. He runs with the ball and gets a first down.
He scrambles and picks up a first down. What else does he do? Protects himself by sliding.
Ooh, Tennessee's Derrick Henry passes test with contact practice. Mayfield has surgery. Eyes return to true self. McCarthy at ease on stats. I know how. Oh, wow, that's let's see this.
Now a carry for Edwards-Helaire.
Dallas Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy says he does not see his future with the team as an issue. It's operating under business as usual conditions. Yeah, I don't know. McCarthy met with Jones immediately after the game and again on Monday and does not see his future as an issue. We have a very positive conversation and just the focus is on the elevation of the process.
Now they'll throw with Mahomes.
Oh, man.
Throws a deep ball, end zone.
Wow.
In the end zone, touchdown, Kansas City.
I mean, the ball just went straight up.
56 yards. And the Chiefs are in
Watch
the
this.
lead.
Oh, no, they're just going to show the receiver.
He can do everything seemingly, and that
But
time he just really
it just looked like he just shot the ball up in the air.
Here in the stadium, all eyes were on the receiver streaking downfield, and you know everyone was thinking, throw it, he's open.
But that's booth review to see he got both feet in. But yeah, that's the big question. That's the big question. Okay, there's the catch. And he got both feet in.
They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How is the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right.
Extra point is good. So now what is that? 17. That's 17 points again. It was a 10-point difference, and then boom. That's still plenty of time.
To the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Buffalo offense now as they get set to take over.
12 for 18, 121, touchdown and interception. That's not so bad, but he needs to pick it up. And I mean, that's the thing with Josh Allen, is that he's got the legs. They've been playing time. They do design runs, and he just runs the ball and so forth. So 17 minutes left in this game, down by 17. I mean, Buffalo needs to score. Their defense needs to hold up, and so forth. We'll see how Buffalo does on this drive. Allen, plenty of time, but time is running out. There's lots of time. There's a lot of time left. The difference is the defense needs to make a stop.
So quickly all the way up at the 40-yard line. Now Allen going to give it to
Moss. Oh my God. I had Moss on my fantasy team, and he started off well, but then he started to go down. And I don't know why. I don't know if he had injuries and so forth. Singletary came on, had a switch running backs in my fantasy league, and boom. Oh, he's going to get served. So that's 3rd and 13 now with 50 seconds and counting in this quarter. And, where's the ball? There. Back at the 35, 30, 37.
And you can tell on the sideline, those faces are getting a little bit longer as this one goes.
They will have to, they're at the 37. They'll have to snap the ball one more time before the end of the quarter. Oh, they just run the ball. Wow, they're giving up on this drive. You think that he's going to be Moses and that's the Red Sea's going to part and he's going to run for 13 yards? I think not.
In this situation, I wonder if maybe they outguessed themselves a little bit. 3rd down seemed like an obvious passing situation. They chose to run it.
Oh man, I'll be back.
First down.
Here's Matt Hawk now as he's on to punt for Buffalo. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. A call for a fair catch, and it's made at about the 23-yard line. 1 quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. We're back now in KC. It's the Chiefs with the lead and the football here as we get set for quarter number 4. The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. They've got a chance now to put this game away following that last defensive stop and punt. They run on first down as they get about 3. 2nd and 7 forthcoming. So 4th quarter, a nice run there to start this drive. Charles, what do you think the split will be here between run and pass?
Well, partner, I think it'll lean towards the run, but this is also not a time where you just totally do that. You still have to possess the ball, move the sticks, and keep the clock moving as well. So they'll run their offense, but yeah, when they have a chance to run it, they'll do that a little bit more.
2nd down, back to Edwards-Helaire. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. 62 yards for him on the ground now on that, his 20th carry of the ball game. And I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to
obviously, Buffalo punt the ball away. Tennessee's got the ball now, and they just got to run the ball. So,
you're taking charge.
Defensively, Harrison Phillips there to stop him.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces, and I know it sounds crazy.
So here we go. We got the 4 games this weekend. And we start off with the only game we don't have a rematch in. And at Cincinnati, at Tennessee, they didn't play this year. It's going to be like I was saying. I was previewing that one just a little bit. Will we see the return of Derrick Henry? Will Cincinnati keep that momentum going? And this, like, both these teams lost to the Jets. Tennessee, let's see. Tennessee lost to Arizona week 1. They lost to the Jets week 4. Who else did they lose to? They lost to Houston. Houston at the end of November. They lost to New England. And then they lost to Pittsburgh. That was their final loss of the season. But then they've won 3 in a row against. Well, they mustered a win over San Francisco, but then they beat. I think they weren't resting, but still, they kind of like Tennessee has had their ups and downs, and they played most of the season without Derrick Henry, so they found ways to win. And Cincinnati had some impressive wins too this year, but not that impressive in my mind. So, well, the Kansas City one, but that was at the end, nailed by it. It wasn't comfortable and like, yeah, we dominated. So, we got Cincinnati at Tennessee, and since I did have Tennessee representing the AFC, I'm leaning towards, I'm not leaning towards, I'm going with Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to take care of business with or without Derrick Henry. I'm just going with that. Boom. They got home field advantage. They're going to have Derrick Henry as a decoy as long as they keep Jamar Chase wrapped up. I don't know how well Tennessee's DBs are, their defensive schemes. I mean, is that? No, I don't want that. Let's see, stats. I want team stats. Team stats.
The Bills on 5 out of 9 thus far. This will be 3rd and 5. Allen.
That doesn't tell me nothing.
Oh, it's a screen pass. That's complete. And he will be very close to a first down, but I see the closed fist of the referee.
Defense.
The result only 4
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Boy, that was certainly
Show.
defensively, and the key to any screenplay is space to work, and there was none to be
This
found
doesn't
there.
tell me
And
nothing.
for just a short
Whatever.
gain.
Get out of here. What happened? Fourth and inches. Buffalo's gotta go for it. Yeah, they gotta.
Gonna go for it here on 4th down. So trailing
But
in the last quarter. Let's see how this plays
no
out.
one's. Incomplete. But anyways, no one's talking about Tennessee. Tennessee's on the back burner. No one has talked about, is Tennessee going to go on a run? They're number 1 team in the AFC. They're just going to, dominate. No, it's Buffalo. It's Kansas City. Even Cincinnati, how they're young talent, how, energetic they are. But is this a trap game? Is Cincinnati going to be riding high and all of a sudden they just fizzle out? I mean, I don't know. I can't say. Tennessee is just that team where it's like, they're good,
So from the 36 now,
but how good are they?
1st and 10.
Yeah, they won 12 games this year. And
A shotgun snap.
someone had to win the AFC. They beat Kansas City.
Nice pick
They
up
beat
on
Buffalo.
first down.
So I think that's how it becomes. But how good is Tennessee? And I'm going to go with Tennessee mainly because of home field advantage and mainly home field advantage. But I would not be surprised if Cincinnati pulls up the upset and they go to the AFC Championship game for the first time in a long time. So, but my official pick is Tennessee. They win by 10. We'll say they win by 10. Then we go to Saturday night. It's the Green Bay Packers hosting the San Francisco 49ers at the frozen tundra. And it's going to be a chilly one at Lambeau. And it's just going to be nice. And obviously, I'm going to be at the edge of my seat because the Packers have lost 3 straight in the postseason against San Francisco. 2 of them back-to-back years in 2012 and 2013, but that was with Jim Harbaugh and Colin Kaepernick. When we really saw how Colin Kaepernick could, how dangerous he can be. Then, just a few years ago in the NFC Championship game with Shanahan and not Jimmy G. He didn't do jack diddly in that game. 6 for 8. It was Rasheed Morris. No, it's not Monster, but something like that. And he just ran 200. That's how the Niners beat the Packers back in 2012 because of Kaepernick running wild. Then Rasheed Morris. I couldn't pronounce his name if I wanted to. Oh, down goes Mahomes. And now, here we go. But here's the funny thing. Those 3 years, Packers played the 49ers in the regular season, and they lost to the 49ers 3 times in the regular season, and then they lost them in the postseason. In the Divisional Round, in the wild card, and championship game. This year, first of the 3 rematches in the postseason. Packers go to San Francisco week 3. San Francisco gets the lead late, but Packers, they move the ball. 2 great passes from Rodgers to Adams, and when Crosby was still kicking good, boom. They're still nailing it. Takes a 53-yard or whatever, wins as time expires. So Packers, they won that time. San Francisco comes to Green Bay. Jimmy G has his shoulder, his thumb, everything. The Colts gonna be horrible on that. He takes a hit, boom. And let's be honest, San Francisco's going to use Deebo Samuel. They're going to try and run the ball. Packers, they contain him. If they contain Samuel and don't let him get running wild, Packers can easily win this game and go to their 3rd straight NFC Championship game. And of course, you know who I'm going to pick? I'm picking the Packers to win at home. I know home field advantage hasn't been on their side, but they are the better team. They were the best team in football. They got the best player in football. They got back-to-back MVPs in Aaron Rodgers. And yes, I'm gonna be a little stressed. The Packers, how they've been playing lately, but they're getting healthy. They got that bye week. They're coming off that bye week. They're home in front of 80,000 screaming cheeseheads. Colder than a witch's titty. It's going to be nipply out there. Maybe some snow. And everything's on their side. They lose. It's the end of an era. So, obviously I'm picking Green Bay. Then we move to Sunday. We got the LA Rams going out east to take on Tampa Bay, the defending, the reigning, the undisputed Super Bowl champions, Buccaneers. Earlier in the season, it was like week 3, week 4 it was, these 2 teams met in LA and the Rams took care of business. Let's see when it was.
You cannot write these guys off just yet, not with a quarterback like that under center. You mean it actually crossed your mind?
When was that? That was week 3. They were Tampa Bay went to LA and the Rams took care of business, winning by 10, 34-24. And that's the early game on Sunday. And some were saying that Bruce Arians just doesn't know how to plan or play or just get past Sean McVay. And man, I didn't forget who I picked this. I gotta look up now. I wrote it down. And how the Rams have been playing as of late. They had that little skid in November, losing 3 in a row. Matthew Stafford showing why, he's Matthew Stafford of the Lions. You can change colors, but it doesn't change the person inside. So, but here's the other thing. Tampa Bay is still injured. They're all banged up. Just like San Francisco. San Francisco, they ain't going to have Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa, whichever Bosa it is. They're not going to have the other guy. Tampa Bay, they're all banged up. Tom Brady, he has a few targets, but if Leonard Fournette's not there, and if the best corner in the league is shutting down one of the best wide receivers in the league, one of the, not the, LA, if they go out to Tampa Bay, I'm picking the Rams to win. For 2 reasons. One, I just want to see Tom Brady lose. And that's going to be glorious. Everyone can take a big sigh of relief that Tom Brady ain't going to win another ring. But this is going to motivate him more next year. And if the Packers win and the Rams win, then we see the Rams return to Green Bay for a rematch of earlier in the season. And if Tennessee does win, we're gonna have another rematch no matter what. Well, no, Cincinnati did not play Buffalo this year. Anyways, so I'm picking the Rams. I think the Rams have a lot of momentum. Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback. It's just that he played for the Lions. And, he finally got his first playoff win. Odell Beckham was on a playoff winning team for once. And I think the Rams are healthier. The Rams are, well, they were better early in the season, but I think that's going to be a good close game. And who knows how it's going to go. The Buccaneers, they're the veteran team. That's the thing. In the NFC, the last 3 NFC champions are playing this weekend. LA Rams, San Francisco 49ers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The thing is, LA, San Fran, they both lost. They both lost in the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay, they won. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm picking the Rams to beat Tampa Bay. And finally, this game, give you my pick, and then we'll just enjoy how this game plays out as the Kansas City Chiefs have a 20-point lead.
Another incomplete passer we just saw, and they're under 200 yards passing for the game, so they've done their job
on that side of the ball. Buffalo, they didn't do the impossible. Buffalo beat Kansas City early in the season, so this is another rematch, like we said. And it was in Kansas City. And I think it's going to be an offensive game.
And the Bills have got it back to a 2-score game here in the fourth. So a little bit of a letdown.
Are they going to go for 2?
I mean, look, you're still 2 scores to the good, CD, but things may be a little more uncomfortable than they had hoped.
Yeah, if you kept them at the end zone there, this game's over. You've locked the door on
That's
them.
not 10
Instead,
points.
it's
What is it?
open a little bit,
It was 20.
puncher's chance.
Pass on for the extra point.
It's 13 points now.
Then that will cut this lead down to 13.
Okay.
So that one a pretty time-consuming.
I think it's going to be very offensive. I don't think we're going to see much defense. I think it's going to be high scoring. And I got to go with the Chiefs. I'm going with Kansas City. I think Kansas City, with home field advantage, I think So how I'm looking at it, I have 3 of the 4 home teams winning. I got Tennessee, Green Bay, Kansas City winning, and the 1 road team, the LA Rams, winning on the road. That would set up then Kansas City at Tennessee in the AFC Championship game, and LA Rams come to Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. That's what I'm predicting right now. That's what I'm leaning towards. And we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be a long weekend. And depending on how things go, I'll be happy or I'm going to be mad and miserable and just heartbroken once again. And I mean, my heart has been broken for the last 11 seasons, 12 seasons. I mean, they won the Super Bowl the 2010 season. This is the 2021 season, so that's 11 seasons since, right? 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2021. And my team, the Packers, have disappointed me countless times since. They go 15-1 following their Super Bowl victory and losing the divisional round. Thankfully, I had to work that day and I missed. I did not watch a single snap. I don't plan on watching a single snap of that game ever. Bounce back. They make the playoffs 2012. They beat the Vikings in the wild card round. They hand out to San Francisco. They start off great against San Fran, but then San Fran, Colin Kaepernick ran wild. And that started a trend for Green Bay. That started a trend. The 2012 season started a trend. 2013, Rodgers got hurt. They win the division at the end. Host San Fran, and they lose on the last second field goal. It was whoever had the ball last was going to win. 2014, boom, number 2 seed, get the bye, beat Dallas, head out to Seattle, win 16-0, what was it? And then just collapse. Russell Wilson throws like 12 interceptions, and Green Bay loses and falls apart. An incredible collapse. 2015, didn't win the division, but they beat Washington, head out to Arizona, had an incredible comeback, force overtime, and just give up a huge catch and run. And lose to Arizona overtime, and it's like, 2016, started 4-6, go on a run, win 6 straight, make the playoffs, win the division, okay, beat the Giants, beat Dallas, toe tap, Crosby game winner, head to Atlanta and got routed, just missed the playoffs 2017, 2018, 2019, new regime, second best record in the conference, get the first round bye, 13-3, beat the Seahawks, head out to San Francisco, and then got ran over. Okay, 2020, no fans in stands. Extra team in the playoffs. So on 4th down, Mahomes off. Ran the table, 13-3, best record in the NFC. Home field advantage. Even though you have a few fans in stands, they take down the Rams. Tampa Bay comes in. Tom Brady comes in. Just blowing opportunities. Blowing opportunities. Blown opportunities. And they intercept Tom Brady, 2-3 times, but we're down and kick a field goal instead of going for it, and just questionable, and then they lose. And then the whole off-season mishaps. After the field goal, here's Butker to kick it away. Returning it, Isaiah McKenzie. And now here we are, yet again. Started their third season, went 13-4, got the first round bye, They're hosting a familiar foe, a team they played earlier in the season. But difference is they won. Okay, so from 2012 to 2020, the Packers lost to San Francisco twice, Seattle, Arizona, Atlanta, San Francisco, and Tampa Bay. Those 7 teams. What are those 7 teams? There's 7 times having in common. They lost to those teams in the regular season. Those are all rematches in the playoffs that happened in the regular season. They lost to San Francisco twice. They lost to San Francisco in 2012 in the regular season, and 2013 in the regular season. They lost to Seattle in the regular season. All 3 of those were the season openers too, I do believe. Okay, boom. Okay, 2015. A few weeks before, like week 15 or 14, they head out to Arizona and got stomped by Arizona and lose to them in the playoffs. Atlanta, same thing. I think Thanksgiving weekend. Boom. Thanksgiving weekend, they play Atlanta and then got beat. They were banged up. They got beat. No, it wasn't even then. It couldn't have been then because they weren't 4-6 at that point. Okay, then they make it to the NFC Championship game. They muster their way in there again and lose. 2019, head out to San Francisco. That was their second loss this season. Matt LaFleur's second ever loss, and they got embarrassed by San Fran. But
one final try here for Allen. He's going to let it fly.
Oh.
This is intercepted, and that should
go down. There you go. Then they go back out there in the NFC Championship game and lose. They got embarrassed. Okay. 2020, Tampa Bay. They go to Tampa Bay. Was that their first loss of the season against Tampa Bay last year? I think so. They got embarrassed by Tampa Bay. And then they lost to Minnesota. And then who else did they lose to? They lost on the road. Who did they lose to on the road last year? They lost to Minnesota at home. They lost to Tampa Bay on the road. And it was an AFC opponent. Who did they play against in the AFC last year? It was Indianapolis. They lost at Indy. That's what it was. Why would Buffalo call timeout? Oh man, Kansas City's gonna kick another field goal. Oh no, that was their last timeout. So stupid. Well, they can take knees now. Good. And then so forth. Yeah, here we go. Finally, game's gonna end soon. Thankfully. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm gonna watch all 4 games, the best of my ability. Obviously, watching this to its completion, win, lose, or embarrassment. It's been one hell of a season for them. So, one more kneel down. There it is. Madden is predicting Kansas City's going to win in a shootout, 47-31, and that they will go to their 4th straight AFC Championship game. So, congratulations to the Chiefs. We'll see Sunday night if that comes true. Now, next week, we will be in for a doozy. Because we are not just simulating one game, we're simulating both championship games. We're simulating the AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game in that order. And that's how I'm going to release them. So, when I'm going to try and get them out and release them as about the same time, if so. And as soon as I can. I mean, once this game concludes. We already know who will be in the NFC Championship game. But then we'll know who's in the AFC Championship game as well. And the final 4 teams will go at it next week. So there you have it. Kansas City beats Buffalo, they get redemption from earlier in the season. So hey, enjoy this weekend, because we only have 3 weekends left of meaningful football in the next 4 weeks. Divisional round this week, Championship Sunday next weekend, then Pro Bowl. Who cares? That's out in Las Vegas, and it's going. And then Super Bowl in 4 weeks. Wow. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you next week, not once, but twice, for Championship Sunday. Until then, adios, muchachos.